After finishing third in the Hungarian Grand Prix, George Russell appeared to accuse Red Bull of breaching Formula One regulations. The Mercedes driver stated that Red Bull and Ferrari had not done what is expected of them in the season when it comes to following regulations. So what are the exact reasons why George Russell feels these teams are cheating? Stay tuned till the end of the video to find out. After Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc expressed their opposition to the FIA's mid-season attempt to prevent severe bouncing in some cars, George Russell accused other drivers of prioritizing performance over safety. The FIA issued a technical guideline to F1 teams revealing plans to reduce the degree of vertical oscillations experienced by drivers over safety concerns. The move follows various types of bouncing, including the phenomenon of porpoising, which caused severe discomfort for several drivers, most notably Russell's Mercedes teammate Lewis Hamilton, who needed assistance getting out of his car at the end of the Azerbaijan GP due to severe back pain. The problem is an unintended consequence of F1's all-new design regulations for 2022, with intentions to allow more wheel-to-wheel racing, resulting in cars that are lower to the ground and stiffer. The sport's governing body is to undertake study during practice sessions at this weekend's Canadian Grand Prix in an attempt to define an acceptable amount of bouncing, with the restriction to be applied at an indeterminate period in the future. All 20 drivers spoke to the media ahead of the first practice session, with the agreement being that action is needed to preserve driver safety. However, Red Bull's Verstappen and Ferrari's Leclerc, who have shared 7 victories in 8 races this season, have declared they are averse to the concept of forcing teams to change their configuration if the drivers are pleased with the physical difficulties. Verstappen, who is 21 points clear at the top of the World Championship standings, said, "There are a lot of sports out there where I think you damage your body in general. Once you are retired from your career, you won't be how you were when you were 20. That is simply how it is. Football players have problems with their knees. When you're a motocross or a MotoGP rider, the number of bones they've broken in their body, you can always judge. Is that the safest thing to do? No. But we are willing to take risks. That's our sport. That's what I love to do. For sure, the porpoising we have at the moment is not nice, and I don't think it's correct, but some teams are able to handle these things a lot better than others, and so it is possible to get rid of it. So I don't think we need to over-dramatize what is happening at the moment." Leclerc, who has been able to match Verstappen's pace but has been troubled by engine reliability issues with his Ferrari, concurred with his competitor. Leclerc said, "I don't completely agree on my side. I feel like it's the team's responsibility to give me a car that is okay to drive. Until now, I didn't have any particular problems with it. Yes, it is stiffer than last year's car. Whether it's undrivable or very hard on myself, I don't think it is. Or at least personally, on our side, we found solutions to make it better." Russell, who was impressed in his rookie season with Mercedes, despite the team being one of the most affected by bouncing, hailed the FIA for acting quickly, but characterised the changes as more of a sticking plaster than a solution. The 24-year-old British driver, who is also the director of the Grand Prix Drivers Association, then appeared to criticise his competitors' attitudes, citing examples such as Leclerc's Ferrari teammate, Carlos Sainz, and both Red Bull drivers complaining about bouncing earlier in the season. "There's obviously a lot of mixed agendas here from different teams and drivers," Russell said. "We've heard it from Carlos at times, and Checo and Max earlier in the season, how bad it's been. But now that their performance seems to be strong, they obviously don't want to change because it can only hinder them. So it's obviously a bit of a shame to see performance prioritized over safety, but there's no doubt that in Baku, I could see my pit board, but I couldn't read my pit board because I was bouncing around so much." 7-time world champion Hamilton, whose presence in Canada was briefly called into question owing to his problems in Baku, also appeared to criticise several of his competitors in code. It's always interesting seeing people's perspectives and opinions in different lights. Obviously, in front of you, it's one thing, and sometimes in the background, people say different things. Ultimately, I think safety is the most important thing, and I think at least one driver on every team has spoken on it. And I don't think it's going to change a huge amount, but I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done. It's positive that the FIA are working towards improving it because we have this car for the next few years. So it's not about coping with the bouncing for the next 4 years, it's about completely getting rid of it and fixing it so that in future drivers, all of us, don't have back problems moving forward. The FIA is not actually offering a solution. They are putting certain tests in place to force the teams to find a solution, We have 10 incredible Formula One teams with some of the top technical minds in the world and plenty of facilities, resources, and funding available to them. They are all trying to figure out how to keep the automobiles from porpoising and bouncing due to suspension and aerodynamics. The FIA will not appear anywhere with a component to install on the cars that will remedy the problem, since the underpinnings of all 10 teams in the competition are vastly different. In the end, the teams will have to discover answers. It is 4 pages long, and it appears that determining the metric will be challenging. Some teams have it right. The McLaren does not bounce much, and neither does the Red Bull, while others are striking the ground hard. Some people think that the FIA cannot make up another set of regulations 7 or 8 races into the season. This is about quality, not the lowest common denominator. Those teams who have not gotten it right must do so. They will sacrifice performance until they do. In most people's experience, when there are significant changes, the teams adapt rapidly. Some think it will make much of a difference, but they can see it playing into Red Bull's hands. It is such a complicated topic that one would be lying if they claim to have all the solutions. It is a highly complicated challenge, which is why these fantastic teams are battling to solve it. On the surface, it appears to be harmful to Mercedes. It appears that they have one of the most serious bouncing issues, and their drivers are the most dissatisfied. So if the FIA thinks that Mercedes is bouncing too much and too forcefully, causing back pain, they will have to raise it up and give up performance. Mercedes admitted this week that they pushed their cars and drivers too hard in Azerbaijan. As part of a technical guideline aimed at decreasing porpoising, the FIA will crack down on flexible flooring, beginning with the Belgian Grand Prix. Russell took out his competitors after being asked if the new flexi floor rules will send Mercedes closer to the front of the group. To maintain a fair playing field among teams, the FIA will increase its flexible floor testing for Spa. The additional tests, however, are expected to prevent teams from abusing grey areas to improve performance. Despite naming Mercedes 2 competitors, Russell noted that the alterations may not have an impact on the pecking order. He added, "There's no guarantee that it would bring them closer to us. We know if it was on our car, it would make us slower. There are no guarantees. Every car is different, but it's not going to help them, that's for sure." Russell's words stunned Sky Sports anchor Karen Chandok. Russell's comments, he says, are the first time anybody has openly accused Red Bull and Ferrari of pushing the envelope on the floors. Horner, on the other hand, denied any wrongdoing, claiming that the adjustments would have no effect on the team's speed. Instead, he took use of the occasion to lash out at the FIA, stating that teams required an immediate update on the regulatory revisions for next season. He claimed, "Ferrari still has a quick car and Mercedes is coming back at us. Maybe we don't need to TD in Spa. The technical directive has no effect on us. We need quick clarification on what the rules are for 2023. I hope as early as this week. It's 10 past midnight for next year and Cinderella has already left." What are your thoughts on these F1 stars' lifestyles? Please let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any of our incredible videos. Keep an eye out for the next video. Bye for now.